So in this presentation, what I'm going to do is really show you how you can fast-track project management success with the Microsoft suite of technology that Project Online is made up of. And additionally, if you're tweeting, our hashtag for this session is PMI WDC. My Twitter handle is @MeetDucks. If you have no clue what I just said, I'll do a session on social media next month. All right? So my background, my organization is Innovative E. We're based out of here in the greater DC area. We're in Northern Virginia. And we help organizations around here, commercial and government, maximize their Microsoft investment around SharePoint Project Server to use it for project management. I'll show you some examples, some of the work we've done around here, similar to a lot of your organizations. So just to get going, we know today these are the things we face, right? Where, number one, our people want to work together from virtually anywhere, anytime, anyhow, with anything. That doesn't include Yahoo, of course. Some of you didn't get that, right? You got to catch up with your news. So, but that's a reality. Even with government, telework is now standard. The second challenge we face is I need flexibility to manage without upfront infrastructure costs. For example, who has tools like Primavera? Or use tools, Primavera. Okay, good. Project Server. Yeah? Y'all love that, right? In a lot of technology investments that I'm involved with, at least in the last few years, oh, we need some project management system, Primavera, Clarity. Anybody using Clarity? Bless your heart.
I'm very sorry.
The idea is to help project management. But guess what? The initial deployment, 80% of that investment goes to putting this server up, right? But we're not really solving the problem. That's a challenge. The other challenge is our company can only compete if we align investment with business priorities. And it's never been truer today. With the global economic climate, you know, everybody has to be more accountable when they spend for. I mean, here in the last few years, right, accountability is huge. We had done some work with EPA early last year around surfacing their project-related information. At any given point in time, this group have $400 million worth of projects running, and they just don't know what's going on. It's not their fault. It's just the nature of how things are. But we need to know, right? So how do you do that? Another challenge is we want more visibility and control. And control is not a bad thing. In fact, we want dashboards. That's a secret to career success. You want to get promoted? Use that word, dashboard. You see your boss tomorrow? Dashboard, instant promotion, GS25. So, with all those challenges, how does that line up with our project management practices? Is this a good picture of your project management office or your project management practice? One, there's varying maturity, right? Well, we're all PMPs in here, or most of us, we know the PMBOK guide in our sleep. We've memorized the 44 processes and the knowledge areas, right? I forgot it after I took the test. But then that's not true for everybody in the company. I mean, today, everybody's working on a project, be it formal or informal. Today, there's a lot of people who I call reluctant project managers. People in the business, your marketing folks, your sales folks. I mean, I talk about marketing, and a lot of organizations, marketing budgets are huge. But are the stuff they're working on visible up top? Maybe, maybe not. What about resource issues? I work a lot with IT organizations, ducks, you know. We sound like we're a mature organization, but I tell you, every single freaking week on a Tuesday morning, we sit together, put up an Excel sheet, trying to figure out who's working on what. That doesn't happen to you, right?
Not Tuesday.
Not Tuesday. and then the idea of disparate technologies. I mean, we're in the age of what's called bring your own device, both hardware and software. Everybody loves their iPhone. BlackBerry, that's a bad word today. But it is what it is. And then you've got people in the organization where if IT can't help them, fine, I'm going to sign up with Google Apps. I'm going to use Yammer. I'm going to use Basecamp because I just got to get my work done. How do you deal with all this stuff? What about line of business integration? Because when we think about project management, in this day and age, it's not siloed anymore. It's not just its own thing. How do you tie it with your line of business systems around finances, around timesheeting and payroll? I work with a lot of organizations and say, well, project server is great. You know, people are supposed to put in their time, but we don't really put our time there. We put in our ADP payroll system. And we can't ask our people to put their time twice. Won't work. All right? So how do you deal with this? Is this your PMO? We need tools. So what do you think is the most used project management tool today? That's not even on top 10. That's number 3. PMI made this formal survey. Email, very good. In 2012, the #1 tool used by PMPs around the world to deal with project management stuff is email. No. Where's that status report? Let me check my email. Where's that expense information? Let me check my email. Right? For crying out loud, we're in 2013. Everybody wants an iPad 10. Right? You have GPS in your car so you won't get lost. You have TiVo at home because you got to record Dancing with the Stars. And we use a 1973 freaking technology to manage our projects, which wasn't intended to do. And the good news is we could do better. The good news is we can make everyone happy with the Microsoft stack of tools. And don't get me wrong, if you're thinking, well, Docs, you're a Microsoft guy. Of course you're pitching Microsoft. You know, I like my iPad. Yeah, I used to have a BlackBerry. I gave it up. Now I have Windows 8. I use a Mac. Get over it. But the point being is, in this line of work, nobody has a fuller suite of tools that can make everyone in the organization happier and more effective than the Microsoft suite of tools. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're in the business, all you're doing is project collaboration. Well, we're hiring a vendor. We're doing a new ad campaign. We don't need all the high-level portfolio stuff. That's cool. We're doing PPM. You know, we're more disciplined. We need to track multi-billion, gazillion-dollar budgets. We're doing application lifecycle management. Anybody involved with ALM in IT project? We need to subscribe to compliance. Big here. Why? It doesn't matter. Project Online can support all that. And more importantly, this is the key thing. I believe in the idea of project management on my terms. What are you talking about, Docs? I don't want people to shove it on my throat. Oh, you got to use Primavera. You got to use Project Server. You got to use Clarity. No. I work how I work. When I'm on the road, I use my phone. When I'm at home, I like my iPad. First thing I get to work, I fire up Outlook and Excel. Those are my killer apps. Y'all with me? Forgive my southern twang. I come from the deep south, Manila, Philippines. So it works with anything and everything. And the unfortunate part is Microsoft has been boxed in this thinking, oh, Microsoft is not cool. We're all Apple geeks. Guess what? What do people use their iPhones for and iPads for, really? Email. Because you can't really do anything else. Now, how do we think about Microsoft's suite of tools, right? If you think about project management, a lot of us think Microsoft is Microsoft Project. Yeah, kind of sort of true, but Microsoft has a lot of different offerings, starting with, which I didn't even put in here, email, Outlook. It's the #1 project management tool Microsoft has. We don't want to admit it, but it's Outlook. Then if you move up, let's say you want to do task management, simple action items, to-do lists, SharePoint can do that for you. And by now, I suspect most of you know what SharePoint is. If you don't, we'll see it in a while. But Docs, I need to work with external people, different groups, different company. I need to do more collaborative type of work. You can use SharePoint. Well, Docs, I need to do more enhanced scheduling. A finish to start dependency just won't cut it. Use Project with SharePoint. I need more maturity, Docs. I need to do demand management. I need to put in my drivers for next fiscal year. Well, stick in Project Server, Project Online. What I'm saying here, there's a lot of options, and you can grow up with Microsoft's suite of tools. And if you don't need to grow up, you don't have to. It supports every single type of scenarios. Now, what's the deal with Project Online? Project Online is part of Microsoft's product called Office 365. If you go to office365.com, it's essentially taking all of Microsoft server products that you traditionally use in your company. For example, like email in your company. If you're a Microsoft-based company, you use this server called Exchange, where it hosts all your emails that goes to Outlook. If you have SharePoint, your SharePoint admin will set up SharePoint server. If you have Project Server, but the idea is taking all these server-based products, you don't have to deal with it, just pay Microsoft per user. So that's essentially what it is. It's very, very useful. For me, I like it because setting up servers is not my core business. I mean, think about it. At home, you don't put up your own generator in the backyard to light up your house because that's not really your core business. Just pay the power company. Same idea. And what they did with Project Server, they push it out to Office 365 starting today. All you have to do is go to office365.com, and essentially you've got Project Server. Swipe your credit card in a couple minutes, boom, it's up and running. No dealing with configuring the server, hooking up SQL Server, none of that stuff. Start getting your work done. Project Online is a flexible online solution for PPM, or project portfolio management, and everyday work. And it's built on top of tools we already know, SharePoint, Windows, Office, which you'll see in a while. And more importantly, it's built and supported for the cloud. Oh, cloud, bad, docs, cloud. Can't do cloud here. Security. I mean, I think there's this big misconception about the cloud. Around here, when you say cloud, oh, we can't do cloud. You do online banking? Yeah, of course. Who doesn't? Duh. Right? I don't get that. Right? Now, I can see if you're, in the military or super secret agencies, you just can't touch the cloud. I get that. But for me, if it's not your core business, cloud is the way to go, be it Microsoft Office 365 or other reliable providers. So, what are we going to look at here? So we're going to talk about how you fast-track project management success. And I adhered to this point already. What I love about this suite of technology is I can deliver project management on my terms. And I'll show you different use cases depending on who you are, what you do, time of day. And the way to do this, the way to fast-track project management success with Project Online is through this 3 steps. Okay? So step 1. One of the things in my experience, so just to give you a quick background, I started my career as an assembler programmer. If you don't know what assembler is, you weren't born yet at that time. And at that point in time, I outgrew being an assembler programmer. So I spent a lot of time managing IT projects until I ran a couple of IT organizations. And one of the things I realized in the last few years, the biggest mistake, at least I would say for me, is, if I wear my PMP hat, my project manager hat, I would sit down and say, oh, let's start a project, we should get kickoff, we should have our charter going, we should fire a project, build our schedule. While all that's good academically, in the fast-paced reality we live in, yeah, kind of, sort of, but doesn't happen all that way all the time. I mean, think about it. When you first get assigned to work on a project, hey, Brent, tomorrow I'm going to ship you to Hawaii and open a new coffee shop. What's the first thing he's going to do? He's not going to create a charter or fire up Microsoft Project, build a schedule. He's going to fire out an email and saying, hey, I need this contractor, I need this vendor. He wants to get people on the same page right away. Y'all with me? To be effective, that's what we have to do. And unfortunately, we rely on email. And email is cool, it works, but it could be better. So how do we do that? To get people on the same page right away, we got to have a game plan laid out. And this sounds fundamental. We're all project managers here. But I'm surprised in a lot of organizations, something as simple as this, they don't have. Oh, once we get started with a project, a PM will be assigned, PM will do this, blah, blah, blah. Not only do we lay out the process, we've already identified also who is responsible for what. Got to have a game plan. Once you have your game plan, you can quickly get started to accelerate your schedule development. Now, what do you mean, docs, by quickly get started? So, okay, so let me show you an example. So, for example, okay, so this is my desktop. What I'm going to show you is a scenario where I got assigned to work on a new app. We're an IT organization, so we decided we're going to build a new app for the Windows Phone platform, whatever, right? So this app will do whatever it's supposed to do. So, okay, so first thing, it's not a big project, and in my organization, the way we approach projects like this is very agile. iterative and all that, just to get started. So first things first, I'm going to fire up Microsoft Project. For those that haven't seen this, this is Microsoft Project 2013. You can actually download this for free for 30 days. You can play with it. If you've used 2010, there's a lot newer features here, and I'll highlight those as we go along. But very, very useful and very nice. So let's say I'm going to get started, and project I'm going to work on is build on a phone app. So I started typing, all these common tasks that I have. I put in all my estimates, and the next step I want to do is I want to put in my dependencies. Okay. So let's make this simple, friends, and I'll just say, you know what? Let's link all this, finish to start. So now that I've specified that I'm going to start the project on March 4th based on these estimates, I'm going to get done on April 10th, at least in the early draft. Y'all with me? Now, the next step for me is, okay, who should I use for this project? Okay, so let me go ahead and put in my resources here. So one of the powerful things before I put in my resources with Project Online, it's the ability not only to manage projects across the organization. Project Online has the ability to manage resources across the organization as well. So what I'm going to show you next, this is our company intranet. Okay. By the way, this is up on Office 365, and it's powered by SharePoint. So this is all good, my company intranet. And one of the menus up in my intranet is a tab called Projects. So when I click on Projects, this is Project Online. So for those that haven't seen this, this is the latest and greatest version of Project Server. By the way, everything I'm talking about here applies to Project Server 2013 as well. But I'll use the term Project Online for the purposes of our conversation. But everything I show you, if you have Project Server and you're thinking going to 2013, it's the exact same thing. Y'all follow me? Yeah? So this is the new Project Server 2013, or at least in this case, is Project Online, where it has that cleaner look with what they call the modern UI look. And one of the nice things I have here is it has a listing, which I'll talk more about, of all the projects we're working on in the organization. And I see everything because I am the PMO director. Now, depending on who you are, what you're working on, you can only see what you're supposed to see or not see. Now, very, very good. So it's a way to roll up all this stuff. Now, the other part to this is if I click on Resources, I have what's called the Resource Center. It shows me everybody working on projects. But more importantly, so let's say I want to look at what Alex is working on. I can say Resources, Resource Availability. So by doing that, it shows me, at least for this, between the range this week until April 10th, this is what Alex is working on, all the projects he's working on, etc. None of the emailing back and forth. What are you working on, Alex? All right. None of the Tuesday meetings figuring out which Excel spreadsheet is the latest one. Yeah. Now, being able to centralize all this, going back to my point about getting started quickly, so what I want to do is add resources. So when I add resources from Microsoft Project 2013, when I open this, it's connected to my Project Online environment. When I add resources, what it's going to do, it's going to pull up all the resources that are available. I can even put filters and say, show me only those that are available between this time frame, or show me only those that have this specific skill set. And earlier, I already added 2 resources, Alex and Dux. So once I added resources to the project, the next thing I can work on now is I can start assigning tasks. Okay? So let me do this. Let me highlight a couple of tasks here. Assign resources. I'm going to assign both Alex and myself. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to assign the rest to Alex because he's our lead development guy. All right. So good. So now I've added all this stuff. And I know my boss likes these nice charts and visualizations. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to highlight all the tasks that I have and just say add to timeline. Voila, it shows up in my timeline view. Which, by the way, this top timeline here is dynamic. Every time the schedule gets updated, that timeline gets updated as well, and we'll see it on the web as well. All right. So after I build my schedule, we're all set. Now let's get everybody together. Let's get everybody on the same page. So once I've got this going, I'm thinking now, you know what? I need to get all my team involved now. You know, so far it's on my computer. This is cool, but I need to publish this. So I can go ahead and say File, Publish, right? So once I publish it, what do we end up with? So once I publish this, I'm just showing you in my Mac environment, yeah, just to show you on my terms. It works on anything, everything, anytime, any day. So now I'm on my Mac environment. I go to Project Online. There you go. I see all the projects. Let's look up the phone app project. So when I click on that, there we have it. Let's look at the schedule. And voila. I've got the schedule published exactly like how it is in Microsoft Project. So just to step back, Docs, I mean, you did all that too fast. By the way, this whole session is being recorded. I'm going to send you the video, the PowerPoint, everything, and you can download for $10 a pop. No, just kidding. So what you're saying here is, Docs, the project manager can use Microsoft Project, do his or her thing, and publish it to the web, and everybody else can interact with the project on the browser, on an iPad, on a phone. Exactly. You don't have to give Microsoft Project to everyone. Because you know what happens, right? You give Microsoft Project to everyone, you email that file around, it comes back as Microsoft Word. Talking about you, right? Now, because like I said, you don't expect everybody to have that full discipline that they do this day in, day out. It's fair enough. I mean, folks in marketing don't want to deal with Microsoft Project, which is fine. In fact, even better, while we have this view, to some people it might look daunting, what this provides as well, if you're familiar with SharePoint, anybody use SharePoint? All right, for those that are not familiar, SharePoint essentially is a Microsoft technology that provides a website for people to work together in. Yeah, so it's kind of like Basecamp. You use Basecamp or Google Sites. This is just 100 times better. Yeah, so if I look at this schedule on the browser, you know, I want to get to a place where we can work together. So when I click on Project Site, this is a friendlier view of our project. And you know, I'm going to say remove this, so because I don't need that anymore. As soon as I publish my project, not only did it publish the schedule on the browser, it provisioned a website so our team can work together. And maybe this is where people work. You don't even have to send them to the scary Microsoft Project Server view. Now, I know our marketing folks, they all use Macs. And one of the things they like to do is, you know, they have all these files and templates that they use for their project. That's cool. Okay, Docs, we're going to use this phone app. We're going to start this phone app project. So we need all these files uploaded to the project site so people can work on it. None of the sending attachments back and forth. You send one file to 10 people, you get 20,000 files back. And you know how that works, right? So enough of that. So what I'm going to do is check this out. I'm just going to drag and drop it to what's called a document library, and voila, all the stuff's uploaded. That's a new feature in SharePoint 2013. As a way to upload, drag and drop. Doesn't matter. You're on a Mac, you're on Windows, it just works. Okay? Is this cool? I'm not excited enough, right? Now, so other than that, what else, Docs? How do you get people on the same page quickly? Well, one of the cool things is, where we're working on this. So let's say, all right, Christine, right? Christine, I'm sorry. So can you update this Word document? Brent's going to open a new coffee shop, and we're going to somehow tie it to this phone app. You know, we have this list of coffee drinks. Can we review it? Sure. So imagine, this is too small for everyone to see, but imagine I'm using an iPad. It's going to behave the same way. So anybody working on the project, even if they don't have Microsoft Office, not only can they see the site, they can put the mouse over a document and just see what the document's about. They can look at it from the browser. But let's say, you know what, I need to edit this document. Hit edit. Either I can open the file, or I can directly work on it from the browser. This is a technology called Office Web Apps. It's literally Microsoft Office on the browser. It works with Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, and Microsoft Project. So again, no more excuses from marketing people when they say, it's a Microsoft technology, it doesn't work on my Mac. Wrong answer, right? Now, so let's say this Excel file. Let me open this Excel file just to show you. So I've got this Excel file. There you go. And I can edit the workbook directly on the browser. And like I said, it works on a Mac, iPad, Android, what have you. Okay? Now, what else? So getting everybody on the same page, quickly getting started to engage with folks is very important. And as you've seen already, Project 2013 on the desktop is a new incarnation of Microsoft Project. It allows us to do a couple of things. As you already saw, schedule development, resource management, and it can also do a lot of reporting for us. So I can pull up Microsoft Project on the desktop, for example, and say things like, okay, let me look at all the reports and, show me resource overview. So it shows me a nice little chart, which, by the way, I can print, I can drag and drop to Word or PowerPoint, Excel, what have you. Yeah? So very powerful. Now, the other powerful aspect of this platform, this technology, is we're not telling people to quit using tools that they use. What we're going to tell people is you can still use email. Don't get me wrong. You can still use Excel, but it could just make it better. Okay? So let me show you a use case, an example on how this may work. So, for example, and by the way, friends, this is a true story from one of our customers we work with. So about 2 years ago, we had a customer in Georgia. They're a big paper company, and at any given point in time, they have 100 projects around the country. And before we went in, the way they manage projects is just like everybody else, is email, Excel, network share, all that stuff. Yeah? And what we did, and they already had SharePoint, so we said, you know what, you can actually use SharePoint as a project management platform. Really? We thought it's just a big file share. Do you know that 80% of SharePoint deployments out there are nothing but big file dumps? And I'm talking all about you, too. And in fact, I told him, look, there's a book called SharePoint for Project Management, written by myself. No, I did write it, but I'll give this away later. But with this company, we helped configure it so that it's easy to use, and we also had to train them. And the idea is reduce the reliance on email. It's not because their email inboxes are getting bigger and bigger, but it's just getting out of hand. Right? They don't know who's working on what's the latest stuff. It's just getting out of hand. So the idea is every project now would have a SharePoint site, just like what we looked at earlier. So imagine, where's that? Oh, this one right here. All right. Yeah. No, it's actually this one. So imagine for this company we work with, it so happened, at least in this example, it was in SharePoint 2010. But the idea is every project will now have this website that people can collaborate and work together in. None of the emailing back and forth stuff. Good. And one of the things as we were working on this project, we found out as a part of their process, and I'm sure this would ring true to a lot of you, at the end of the month, project managers would have to send Excel files to Miss Betty in accounting. And Miss Betty in accounting at the end of the month would have 100 Excel files in her inbox of project expenses that she has to put on her desktop, put together in a summary sheet of how much they spent for projects for that month. Y'all with me? Does that sound familiar? So I asked Miss Betty, how much time do you spend doing this? She goes, oh, I've been doing this for 8 years, and maybe about 7 hours a month total. Bugging people, do you send your Excel file yet? Grabbing it from my email, putting it on my desktop, putting it together. About 7 hours. I'm sure, in your world, you have folks like that. I go, would you be interested if I help you reduce that to half the time or even less? She goes, of course, but. I go, but what? As long as I can do it in Excel. I don't want to learn anything new because I'm retiring in 2 years. You know Miss Betty, right? I go, Miss Betty, good news. I'm not even going to show you any new tool. I'm just going to show you a feature in Excel. And that's what I call on my terms, right? For Miss Betty in accounting, for her relationship with the project is these project expenses every month. That's all she needs to deal with. For project managers, they have to report their expenses. So here's what I propose. I said, Miss Betty, here's what we're going to do. So since we've got these project sites for every project, we're going to tell project managers to put their expenses here. It's a big win for project managers, so they don't want to fire up Excel all the time, send you expenses. They're just going to type it in here, And as soon as they type it in, automatically it's going to show up in an Excel file sitting on your desktop. She goes, really? I go, yeah. And by the way, what I'm going to show you is a feature that's been there since Excel 2003 and SharePoint 2003. It's not even new. It's a 9-10-year-old technology. Really? Yep. So here's what we're going to do, Miss Betty. So, Miss Betty, we're going to fire up Excel, and we're going to pre-populate some of the stuff we spent for. So let's say this is for the, by the way, this is Excel 2013, but whatever I'm doing here can be done from Excel 03 above, SharePoint 03 above. Nothing new. So let's say we bought chairs and tables, and maybe I'll pre-populate some. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this information, friends, and convert it to what's called an Excel table. Once it's converted, check this out, publish and allow sync. Y'all see that? It's been there since 03. So let me copy the address. So it's just going to ask, where do you want to publish this? You do it one time, and then you don't have to do it anymore. Let's publish it to the phone app project site. Let's call this project expenses. Okay. That's cool. And let me hit publish. As soon as I do that, friends, what happens? So as soon as I do that, Excel will take this information, connect to this project site, log me in, and make sure I can do what I'm doing here, because security may be a concern. So once it's done, what do we have? So once it's done, we end up having, let's say, view that SharePoint list. So once it's done, we end up with a project expenses list in the phone app project site. Y'all see that? All right, so, but wait, there's more. I tell you, I'm in the wrong business. I should be on shopping TV or something. Now, so again, friends, this is the phone app project site. These are the expenses. So the new process is project managers would now come in the spirit of having a one-stop shop. Remember this acronym called PMIS? You know, inputs, tools, outputs. If you're a PMP in the tool section, there's this magical acronym always pop up, PMIS. Stands for Project Management Information System. The idea is it's the glue that's going to hold everything about your project, which today is email, unfortunately. But now, not only can we have all the documents, all the tasks, but expenses included about this project in this project repository. So now as a project manager, I can say, okay, we bought a car for the project, $50,000. We bought computers. And keep in mind, I'm doing this on my Mac. By the way, for those that have used SharePoint before, you guys familiar with Datasheet View, which never worked outside of IE? Well, guess what? Now works on anything. Right. I love my Mac, but the Datasheet View is just a pain. This is essentially the Datasheet View. Okay, so now the project manager comes in, pops up all the data. Let's go back to Miss Betty in accounting, in corporate. So now, as soon as the project manager enters that, an alert email ping Miss Betty. Hey, Miss Betty, Dux, the project manager, updated his expenses. So Miss Betty, in accounting, with this file on her computer, all she has to do is say synchronize, and I can even put a synchronize button up here. This Excel file will go out to the project site. Voila, the information is there. Think about that. No dealing with email. No dealing with grabbing the file from email, figuring out which folder to put to. It just works on her terms. Is this useful? So friends, the way you look at technology, forget SharePoint, forget Project Online, is always think about what's in it for me, Dux, the project manager. What's in it for Miss Betty in accounting? There's no tool out there that works like this. And like I said, Excel and Outlook are the killer apps of most people in the organization. Now, to Miss Betty, she doesn't even care if this is SharePoint or Project. All she knows, it's Excel. Now, Miss Betty's looking at the receipt. She saw that, you know what, this is not card. You bought carpet, and you spent $5,000. So Miss Betty is editing that project expense information in her spreadsheet, and once she's done, she can push it back out and say synchronize. And once she does that, let me just hit refresh on the browser. Did I hit enter? Oh, okay. Let's go back. Oops. You see that carpet, 5,000? Y'all see that? You'll know about this feature. Who doesn't know? It's okay. It's been there since 03. And you're saying Microsoft is not cool? We've been brainwashed by Apple. Okay. Now, no, on her desktop in her My Documents folder.
Right, but she can't open a brand new Excel sheet. You started by linking that table to SharePoint.
Correct. Correct. So it starts in Excel. Absolutely. So it starts in Excel. Great point. Now, for some of you who use the most powerful database out there called Access, you know Access powers this country? No, actually Excel does. I was working with a large government organization, $10 million project. Everything's held together by this one Excel file. Amazing. But yeah, you could actually do the same thing in Access, and you could do more with Access, actually. But my point is, think about what people do in their work and how you can make all this work together. The problem why people don't have this anaphylactic reaction on project management tools, oh, it's too hard. You know, I just use email. Email works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. All right? But if you can show Miss Betty that it can save her time and effort, why not? 3 months later, she calls me up. She goes, hey, Dux, thank you for what you showed me. Essentially, what I did is I did 99 others for the other projects and tied it to those projects. And I did a summary sheet. You know how in Excel you can create a summary sheet, pull all the data? So now every time the data is updated, my summary sheet gets updated. And the only time I spend for the expenses is just reviewing the information. Because, you know, you can't help people sometimes mistyping or typos and whatnot. So how much time did you save? Oh, so instead of spending 7 hours, now I spend 4 hours every month. Wow. That's value right there. So think about how you can solve a pain versus just throwing tools at people. So Miss Betty, what do you do in the 3 hours that you saved? I learned how to use Facebook. No. That's a different story. But if you want to calculate ROI in seriousness, I talked to the team, the management team of this organization. There's true ROI because apparently Miss Betty, in certain months, she would spend overtime hours just to get all these things together. Right? I mean, yeah, saving 3 hours might not be much, but collectively in the organization, if you have people not doing overtime hours, doing all this manual, you know, putting together Excel files, that's quantifiable ROI with a platform like this. Now, what else? Project Online with the latest suite of technology allows this thing called project management on the go. We're all mobile today, right? I mean, we can't help it. Everybody has a phone. We work remotely. The lines between work and personal lives are now blurred. Now, the power of this platform is really it works on anything. And the beauty of this is, let me show you a use case, okay? So let me go back to my project example here. So let's say this is my project site. And what I've got going on here, friends, is as a part of project site, we have this thing called a project notebook. And by the way, this project notebook is powered by a Microsoft Office product called OneNote. Anybody use OneNote? Boy, it's a very, very powerful project management tool. Anybody use Evernote? This is 100 times better. But what OneNote is, let me just show you an example. So let me go back to my Windows environment. OneNote, think of OneNote as like this binder that you carry around. You can write notes and do whatever with. So that's what OneNote is. Literally, you can go to a website. If you like a picture, you just drag and drop it to OneNote. You know, you can brain dump your thoughts. You can create mind maps. And then once you formalize it, you can push it out to PowerPoint, Excel, Word, what have you. OneNote's been there since 07. Okay? So I use OneNote a lot. And they've integrated this deeper now with 2013. And it's been there in 2010. Every project site that gets created, a project notebook gets created. So that's a way to gather informal thoughts, like lessons learned, all that good stuff, right? So here's the deal. Let's say with this project, we have to do, I don't know, a survey and go to the street, talk to people, interview people, what have you. But I need to capture that for my project because that's my raw data. Y'all with me? I just want to see how people use their phone, right? So I'm on the road and I need to interact with this project. Now, the old way of doing this, either I bring my fancy Sony recorder, you know, those with cassette tapes. Hey, can I record you? And then somehow I go back to the office, have somebody transcribe it. That's so old school. with this technology, again, from project management perspective, and you don't have to have a Windows phone. It so happens I have a Windows phone. You could use iOS, Android, what have you, an iPad. But here's what I could do. I can access that same OneNote file on my phone. That's accessible on the desktop, and that's accessible on the browser as well, right? So imagine I'm on the road, and let's say in OneNote, I want to capture this kickoff at PMI DC for this project. Y'all follow me? So here's what I'm going to do. So I've got the same content here, and you know, I want to have a good reminder of this session. Can you help me, sir? I'm going to have him take a picture of me with everybody, all right? So I'm going to have you take a picture, and again, whatever I'm showing you works with any device. Can you stand here? Yep. And all you have to do is tap the middle, all right? All right. Everybody say cheese.
Cheese.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, awesome. Now upload this to Facebook and tag everyone, right? No, just kidding. So as soon as I do that and say, do you want to accept this? Okay, I did. Okay, good. So now it's saving, it's syncing, give it a few minutes or a few seconds depending on internet connection. But the idea is, think about this. If you had to do, and this is a use case for one of the customers we have, one of our customers in oil and gas, they have gas stations around the country, construction projects, and they have to take updates of the, the status of the construction. Their construction project managers have iPad 2s. And not only do they take pictures, they can take videos, because OneNote takes in video, audio, whatever format, right? Oh, there we go. See, it just showed up. None of the emailing. Did you get that picture? Hey, look at this leak. Because as soon as this thing was posted, with workflow intelligence built in, I can define rules and say, if Dux uploads a picture, ping this person. If a video is uploaded, make sure it gets integrated to the line of business systems. Y'all follow me? Do you feel the love? Right? Is this what you were expecting today? Not really. I know a lot of you came in for the free PDUs, right? No. So that's the first step. Get everybody on the same page. You can collaborate efficiently. The second step is you should be able to manage effectively. Work proactively instead of reactively. We're always in a firefighting mode, and we shouldn't be. Because all these tools I'm showing you, it's not a new thing. Heck, a lot of this, you could do this with existing Microsoft-based tools that you have. Right? So what are you talking about, Docs? When we talk about manage effectively, we can track key metrics, be it schedule, financial data, resource data, even demand. Right? So I'm going to show you a couple of examples. So let me first talk about tracking at a personal level. Right? So when we talk about project management, so that same picture is also on my OneNote client in Windows. Now, so let's talk about tracking, okay? So let me go back to my, my project site. So one of the things when we talk about tracking, at a personal level, I want to update my task, because that's one of the most common things. And really, it's on my terms. What do you mean, Dux? Traditionally, when we update our task, either we go to some project management system, in this case, Project Online, yeah, which you can, right? So let me do that. Let me show it to you. So let me go to the let me go to the online schedule that was published. Okay, all right. Let's see. Oh, back here. So yeah. So let me go back to list of projects. So traditionally, when we think about updating and tracking schedule, we go to some project management system. We go in there and we put in our time, right? So we can enter, what tasks we're working on, all that good stuff. What's the actual start, actual finish, percent complete, whatever. Y'all with me? So that's one way, which is cool. Or I can easily come here and look at all my tasks on Project Online. It has a centralized view of all the projects I'm working on, and I can put in my actuals and all that stuff. My project manager would approve or reject, whatever. That's cool. That's one way. But that's not how I work. Y'all with me? That's just not how I work. I live in Outlook. Okay? I live in Microsoft Outlook which is cool because with Project Online and Outlook and Exchange 2013, guess what? When we talk about tasks, it's not distinguishing a task for this project, my personal task. It doesn't matter. Every task that involves ducks, doesn't matter where I put it in, it's going to show up in Outlook, which, by the way, shows up on my phone as well. Y'all follow me? So now if I go to Outlook, let's look at this. My task, right? My task. So I've got a bunch of different projects. Let's look at this different project. Oh, you see that pop up? Phone app task. You got to elicit requirements, design. So let me go to the design task and say, you know what? I have in progress, and this is 50%. And I'm doing all this in Outlook on my terms. As soon as I do that, that information is fed back to Project Online. And if the project manager opens up Microsoft Project, boom, it'll say 50%. Power to the people, yeah? The third aspect of this technology in terms of me ducks. Microsoft has invested a lot in this idea of social. When we talk about social, we're not talking about Facebook, Twitter, or whatnot. The idea with social technologies is to allow people to work better, collaborate better, and interact better with their peers. So in SharePoint 2013, they have this thing called Newsfeed, right? In the Newsfeed, it's kind of like Facebook. You can follow, you can like, you can do all that stuff. But the cool thing is not only can you follow or like people, you can follow sites, you can follow documents, you can like, I don't know, discussion tasks, whatever. You have this one centralized view, and it brings it up to you, and then you can look at what everybody else is working on. Because the point I'm trying to make here is not only can you see all this stuff, again, all my tasks shows up here. So if I don't have Outlook, if I'm at home, all I have is iPad, I could bring it up and do my updates directly here. You know, certainly I have to log in and all that good stuff on my terms. Is that clear? Now we talk about managing projects at a portfolio level. So I can go to, at a portfolio level, right, and slice and dice information. So if I'm a PMO director or if I'm an executive, I can easily look at this and create my views and create filters and metrics to say, okay, this is today, all this looks like it's done. And you can say, only show me everything that's behind or over budget or what have you. You can do that for resources as well. Now we talk about reporting, right? So managing your project. You can easily visualize business intelligence, right? Now when we talk about visualizing business intelligence, in a lot of organizations, this is very important. But here's the problem. A lot of times, in a lot of cases, while having nice dashboards and report is great, the problem is a lot of times the data is incomplete because it's coming from different systems. But what if you have a streamlined platform like this? If Miss Sally enters information in Excel, that same bit of information would roll up to the grand dashboard that the CEO is looking at. Isn't that powerful? Any date, my task that I update on my phone rolls up to these reports as well. And again, it doesn't require custom development or custom programming. It's all here. So here's an example I want to show you. Here's an example of a simple Excel report that I put together. I pop it in on Project Online, and it's using a new technology called PowerView. PowerView is a dashboarding technology that allows you to animate your report. Now, what do you mean by animate, Ducks? You guys seen movies where, you know, like an epidemic kind of started, and they're telling Mr. President, hey, Mr. President, if you look at the map of the United States, the epidemic started here. In 24 hours, it's going to grow like this. In 6 months, the whole United States will be wiped out. You know what I'm talking about, right? You could do that now with PowerView. And you could build it in Excel. It's straightforward. And so I did all this in Excel and just uploaded it to Project Online. What I did is I pulled all the project metrics. Literally, I went to Excel and said, go to Project Online, pull all the project schedule, and then create this nice PowerView report. But what I could do is I can pick a specific, you see how now it's animated, but I can pick a specific project. Let me pick a specific project. the Asia Pacific Marketing Project. And it's going to drill down, and I can slice and dice. I could do trending. I could do risk analysis, all that good stuff. It's one example. Another example is I could do things like drivers and metrics and demand management. So let's say, let me go back to Project Online, and let me look at, driver prioritization. Now, what that means is in some organizations, if you want to forecast what your plan is for this year, so I put together a driver prioritization for our CIO this year. And what this does is it's grabbing data from existing projects, and it's kind of predicting what we're working on, what the business priorities are, based on how things are moving on. Y'all with me? And you can have this dynamic type of reports available. And again, the data can be coming from all over the place. It could be coming from Project Online, from Excel, Access, what have you. Let me just show you some real-world examples out there. This is powered by SharePoint. The Virginia Department of Transportation public dashboard. And just with the same idea, it's pulling a lot of data and showing key performance indicators, right? So when I click in, it drills down further and shows you more detailed data. Another example is recovery.gov. This tracks $800 billion stimulus funds. You can go to each state and it'll drill down to how the money's been allocated, what the status is, who's working on what, etc. Powered by SharePoint. Yeah. This is, I think it's, yeah, they changed my login. And I'll send you a link to this, but this is an environmental protection agency. It's essentially tracking, again, key metrics for their projects. So friends, my point is it allows you to manage your work effectively. And when we say managing work effectively, Gartner put this out last year, and they said the sweet spot targets communication and reporting that needs to be made between the project team and the sponsor. Because today, gang, with how things are moving so fast, it's not just reporting anymore. It's reporting, collaboration, agility. And there's no platform out there that can support all this. The third way to deliver success is you got to win consistently. You can build enthusiasm over time with a platform like Project Online. What does winning look like to you? Yeah. Winning is not the PMBOK guide, 44, 45 processes in 9 knowledge areas to some people. To some people it is. In this day and age, we can't say, oh, you got to use this complex system. I mean, again, to some people it fits, but to some it doesn't, which is okay. With Project Online, you can grow because depending on where your journey is at in your organization, if all you need is collaboration, great. Here's a project site. Go have fun and talk to the phone in Microsoft Project. We need a full-blown line of business integration. That's cool because Project Online exposes its data with industry standard technologies, web services, all the industry standard APIs. You can pull and push data however you want. Yeah. Resource management, demand management, it's ready. And like I said, it's project management for everyone. Let's say you outgrow all this stuff. Well, docs, it's good. I like it. But we have very, very specific needs, right? We're government, we do crazy EVM stuff. It has to go through this compliance stuff. We need some custom stuff. Does it support it? Absolutely. It has a new framework for you to build apps, for example. We all know what apps is in our phone and iPads, but Microsoft took this idea and this concept and now is available in Office 365 and Microsoft products, Microsoft Office suite of tools. So for example, I'm show you 2 examples, okay? So let me go to my project site. Okay, so let's say I need, I can put risks, issues, deliverables, that's cool, but I need more stuff here. I need to check what they've got going on. So I can add an app, right? Right now, these are all my apps. I need more. Number 1, I can go out to the public Microsoft Store. It's like the App Store, where it has all the different apps that I have. I need to see what app there is for project management. Let's see. There you go. You know, some are free, some are not, and you know how this works. And I can add that function like a risk chart. This is cool. Y'all with me? And if there's an app that's not there, and you're thinking, well, can we create one? Of course. You can create your within the organization your own apps that your people can use, and it's flexible and scalable. And it's not only available for Project Online. This app model is available throughout Office 2013. Okay, so for example, Microsoft Project, notice this, apps for Office. I can integrate apps to Project. I can integrate, where did I put it here? It's the same thing here. They keep moving. Insert, yep, apps for Excel. Y'all with me? There's actually a very cool app. I didn't put it in this example. But there's an Excel app for a currency converter. You know how sometimes you sell stuff and you have pricing for your products, but currencies change? Well, guess what? With that app, it dynamically updates the currencies in the Excel spreadsheet based on what the rate is out there. There's an app in Outlook called the Bing Map app, which is pretty slick. You add it in there, and anytime in your email, it knows if there's an address in the email, you put your mouse over the email. Would you like directions? Very slick. So, to fast track project management success with Project Online is number one, you should be able to deliver project management on my terms. Anywhere, anytime, anyhow, anything. First step, collaborate efficiently. Get people on the same page. Be able to manage effectively. Be more proactive versus being reactive. And you should be able to build on through time to enhance, improve what the technology can deliver for you. This is a case study, which I wanted to show you earlier, but I think I'm not able to log in. But this is the US EPA. Doubled their project management maturity with a platform like this and saved them $1 million in the first 2 months because they can act on information right away. So you get a link to this, you'll see it, and there's screenshots that you can see. So guys, what do you think? Useful? Good stuff? Yeah? All right, questions?